Up until recently, I was never interested in Superman as a character at all. I never really cared about any other heroes except for Spider-Man, but now I find myself really fascinated with Superman and his stories. I couldn't put my finger on why or how I became so obsessed, so I tossed the thought aside and started consuming as much Superman media as I could. I rewatched Donner's original Superman film for the first time since I was a child, then I watched Richard Lester's version of Superman 2 shortly after. I'm also a pretty big fan of Brendan Routh's Superman, just not the film he stars in, although it does have its moments. After watching those two films, clips of Routh's Superman from Returns and Crisis on Infinite Earths, and some of the 1940s cartoon, I realized something. The world is unarguably in a pretty dark place right now, and like many others, I'm trying to find new ways to escape the world's problems only if it's for a little while. And that's when it hit me. Why I've been so drawn to the character. It's his persistence for hope and his unbreakable morals. When I first started my Superman high, I saw a tweet which is what inspired this video. It's from a video essay YouTuber High Top Films, and he says, "The world needs a traditional Superman film more than ever right now, where he isn't an all-powerful god, but where he's just a friend." And he's absolutely right, and I haven't been able to stop thinking about this since the first time I saw it. Now, I'm not going to go bashing on Snyder's version of Superman, although it's not my favorite. I still think Warner Brothers and the executives at DC can still do the character justice. In a report from Heroic Hollywood, they stated that, quote, "A standalone Superman movie would not be successful at this time. Perhaps once there's more momentum after playing a supporting role in some successful DC films, there'll be more of a chance for a standalone film," end quote. And I cannot help but disagree with this statement. Superman represents what it means to be good without a second thought, to act from the goodness of your heart, and I just don't understand how the studio can't see that. Superman's whole character is built on hope and what it means to be human. In the midst of what's going on right now, I think we could all use a little bit of hope. Like High Top said, we don't need a brooding god who mopes around questioning if he should even be Superman. Instead, we need our dorky farm boy from Kansas who just wants to do the right thing. We need a film that shows Superman wanting to be out there helping everyone and trying to inspire hope. I see the vision Zack was trying to go for, but I just don't think it was executed properly, and it's something we just don't need right now. I think this clip of Christopher Reeve sums up the point I'm trying to make.
Philosophically, what does Superman represent to people?
A friend, and that's what people really need most. They don't need a strong arm, one man vigilante force. They need a friend. We're living in an age when people are basically afraid of contact with each other. They're afraid. People live in cities. They don't even know their neighbors. They're afraid to go out in the street. Something might happen to them. Basically, technology is against you. Life is overwhelming. Even the bank doesn't know who you are. And it's like, we run around scared a lot, particularly those of us who live in cities. And America was founded on the virtues of a helping hand, of going 5 miles to lend your neighbor a donkey or whatever he needed. And I think that is that kind of virtue that's at the bottom. That's the heart of Superman. The genuine love of people, and that you always know he's your friend.
What Reeves is saying is still relevant right now. It's the type of tone we need in all Superman media, and it's something I really think could bring audiences together. Like I said before, I'm a big fan of Brandon Routh's Superman, so alternatively, if we can't get a new Superman film, I'm hoping we can at least get a miniseries or some sort of continuation of his Superman from Returns/Crisis on Infinite Earths. I feel like his Superman, especially in the crossover, embodies everything the character should be right now. Despite losing everyone closest to him, he still keeps fighting for the everyman. He stands for justice no matter what comes at him, and that's all we need, a figure who fights for us. With all the bad going on in the world right now, we need someone who can show us a path to a better tomorrow, and to a place with hope and where we don't turn on each other when times get rough. And I think Routh's Superman can really encapsulate that with the right team behind it. Heck, Henry can do that too. I think he would have been a great Superman if he was written coherently. But even if we don't get anything like this in the near future, there are two great short films I feel really stand out and are a great representation of what I'm trying to say. Superman Sylvia, a short about a transgender woman meeting Superman at a very important moment in her life. This short really reminded me of the beautiful panel from All-Star Superman number 10. I'd highly recommend this one. Next is Superman One-on-One, a short about our favorite reporter asking a runaway teen 10 questions. Now these are two really great shorts I feel do the character justice and are all around really awesome short stories. But whichever actor dons the cape next ultimately doesn't really matter. And maybe that new Superman and Lois show will do everything I'm talking about. But what matters most is that we see our Kal-El, Clark Kent, fight for the everyman. That we see our man of tomorrow.